are you doing here?
Have a seat.
On the next episode of Dutton Ranch.
As of tonight, I intend to pass the reins on to the next generation.
The second you've had enough, just walk away, find a quiet place.
Having fun?
Time of my life.
Bula just collapsed in front of everyone she loves, and now her own son might destroy everything she built before she even wakes up. Is this the end of Ten Petals Ranch as we know it? Episode 8 is about to drop one of the most intense aftermaths this show has ever given us, and if you thought Episode 7 was shocking, you are not ready for what comes next. Bula is on the ground, Everett is screaming her name, and Rob Will, the man who just blackmailed his own mother into handing him control of the ranch, is standing there watching it all happen. The question everybody is asking right now is simple. Did Bula just have a stroke? Or is this something even more serious? Because if the show wanted us to believe this was just exhaustion or stress, they wouldn't have built an entire episode around her trauma first. This collapse feels like a direct result of everything Rob Will just put her through, and that makes it personal. It makes it feel like Rob Will didn't just threaten Waqen's future. He may have just taken his own mother's life into his hands without even realizing it. Let's talk about what this means for Rob Will first, because his reaction in the next episode is going to tell us everything about who he really is. Right now, he believes he won. He forced Bula to name him successor. He humiliated Waqen in front of the entire ranch, and he probably thinks the hardest part is over. But here's the problem. Rob Will has spent his whole life chasing power without ever learning what it actually takes to hold on to it. He doesn't understand the ranch the way Waqen does. He doesn't understand the workers, the land, or the responsibility that comes with the Ten Petals name. So when Bula collapses right after giving him everything he wanted, I think it's going to hit him harder than people expect. Suddenly, the victory he fought so hard for doesn't feel like a victory anymore. It feels like a trap. Because if Bula doesn't recover quickly, Rob Will is going to be forced to run a ranch he has no idea how to run, with everyone watching him, waiting for him to fail. And that's exactly what makes Waqen's situation so painful to watch. Imagine spending years proving your loyalty, cleaning up every mess Rob Will ever created, earning the trust of everyone around you, only to lose everything in one speech. Waqen now has to stand on the sidelines while Rob Will takes over a position he was promised just minutes earlier. But here's what I think the show is setting up. I don't believe this is the end of Waqen's story at the ranch. I think this is the beginning of something bigger, because once people start noticing Rob Will's mistakes, and they will notice, Waqen is going to be the one everyone turns back to. The workers already respect him, the land already trusts him, the only thing missing is Bula's official blessing, and I have a feeling that's coming, just not in the way anyone expects. Now let's get into the part nobody is talking about enough. Everett. He has been standing beside Bula through everything, and watching her collapse in front of him might be the moment that finally changes him. For years, Everett has stayed quiet, letting Bula make every major decision without pushing back. But if she nearly died right after being forced into naming Rob Will as her successor, I think Everett is going to start asking harder questions. He may finally start wondering whether Rob Will had something to do with this collapse beyond just emotional pressure. And if Everett starts digging into what really happened during that confrontation, he could uncover details that change the entire direction of the ranch's future. This is the moment where Everett stops being a quiet observer and starts becoming someone Rob Will has to actually worry about. But there's something even more unsettling hiding underneath all of this. We already know Rob Will is responsible for leaving a dead body on Rip's land. That secret hasn't gone away. It's just been sitting there, waiting for the right moment to explode. And what better moment than right after Rob Will takes control of the ranch, when everyone is distracted by Bula's health and the chaos of leadership changing hands. Rip has never trusted Rob Will, and now he has every reason to make sure the truth comes out. If Beth and Rip decide this is the moment to expose what Rob Will did, it wouldn't just ruin his reputation. It could destroy any claim he has to the ranch entirely, especially if Bula wakes up and learns the full truth about her son's actions while she was unconscious. So here's where things stand heading into episode 8. Bula is fighting for her life. Rob Will is sitting on a throne he doesn't know how to use. Waqen is forced into silence, but not for long. Everett is starting to wake up to the reality around him, and somewhere in the background, a secret about a dead body is waiting to bring everything crashing down. The real question is, who breaks first? Does Rob Will crumble under the pressure of leadership, or does the truth about what he's done finally catch up to him before he even gets the chance to fail on his own? Let's pick up right where things left off, because episode 8 is about to force every single character into a position they never expected. Bula is unconscious, Rob Will is technically in charge, and the entire ranch is holding its breath, waiting to see what happens next. I think the first thing we're going to see is chaos behind closed doors. Everett is not going to sit quietly while Bula's life hangs in the balance. He's going to demand answers, and the people closest to Bula, the ones who saw what really happened during that confrontation, are going to start talking. This is where I believe the truth about Rob Will's threats finally starts leaking out. Because right now, only Bula and Rob Will know exactly what was said before she made that announcement. But confrontations like that rarely stay completely private. Someone saw something, someone heard something. And once Everett starts asking the right questions, those small details could turn into a much bigger problem for Rob Will. Now let's talk about what happens the moment Rob Will realizes he actually has to lead. This is where I think the show is going to expose him completely. Running Ten Petals Ranch isn't just about owning the land. It's about managing the workers, handling disputes, making financial decisions, and keeping everything from falling apart. Rob Will has never had to do any of that. He spent his entire life being protected, bailed out, and covered for, mostly by Waqen. So when real problems start showing up, and they will, Rob Will is going to panic. I wouldn't be surprised if his first instinct is to make big, flashy decisions just to prove he's capable. Decisions that look impressive on the surface but end up hurting the ranch in the long run. Maybe he fires someone he shouldn't. Maybe he makes a deal that benefits him personally instead of the ranch. Either way, I think his first major decision as successor is going to backfire, and it's going to backfire badly. This is exactly the moment Waqen has been quietly preparing for, even if he doesn't know it yet. He's not going to fight for power directly, because that's not who he is. Instead, I believe he's going to keep doing what he's always done, holding the ranch together from the background while Rob Will makes mistake after mistake. The workers are going to notice, the ranch hands are going to notice, and slowly, people are going to start comparing the calm, steady leadership Waqen always provided to the reckless decisions Rob Will is making now. That contrast is going to speak louder than anything Waqen could say out loud. I think this is the show's way of proving Waqen's worth without giving him a single dramatic confrontation. Sometimes the most powerful moments come from watching someone else fail. But here's where things get really interesting. What if Bula wakes up sooner than anyone expects? If she regains consciousness even partially, even briefly, I think her first instinct is going to be panic about the ranch, not about her own health. She's the kind of person who would rather drag herself out of bed than let things fall apart under Rob Will's control. And if she catches even a glimpse of the damage he's already causing, that could change everything. She might start regretting her decision immediately. She might even try to reverse it. But here's the problem. Reversing a public announcement like that isn't simple. It would mean publicly admitting she made a mistake, and worse, it could expose the fact that Rob Will threatened her into making that decision in the first place. That kind of revelation wouldn't just embarrass Rob Will, it could legally and emotionally destroy whatever claim he has left to the ranch. Meanwhile, Rip and Beth are watching all of this unfold from a distance, and I don't think they're going to stay silent for long. Rip already has a personal reason to take Rob Will down, especially after discovering that he was responsible for leaving a body on his land. With Bula incapacitated and Rob Will distracted trying to prove himself as the new leader, this might be the perfect opportunity for Rip to finally expose what he knows. Imagine the timing. Rob Will, already struggling to hold on to his new position, suddenly facing accusations tied to a dead body, right when he can least afford another crisis. That kind of pressure could break him completely, especially if he doesn't have Bula there to protect him or clean up the mess the way she always has in the past. And then there's Everett, who I believe is going to become the emotional center of this entire arc. Watching the woman he loves collapse right after being manipulated by her own son is going to change him. I don't think he's going to stay passive anymore. He might start quietly gathering information, talking to people Bula trusts, trying to understand exactly how far Rob Will is willing to go to protect his new position. If Everett uncovers even part of the truth, it could set up a confrontation that finally forces Rob Will to answer for everything he's done, not just to Waqen, but to his own mother. So as we head toward the final stretch of this season, here's where everything stands. Rob Will is in charge, but he's already on shaky ground. Waqen is staying quiet, but his moment is coming. Bula's health is still uncertain, and if she wakes up to see the damage already done, will she find a way to take back control before it's too late, or has Rob Will already gone too far to be stopped?